You know, this is a lot better than I anticipated.
We're all alright! We're all alright! Hello, Wisconsin!
So when that 90s show was announced, I'm like, do we really need an update of that 70s show? Do we need a continuation? Not really. That 70s show is a classic. It is. The last couple of seasons, meh. Very meh, because they were clearly running out of story ideas. They were losing cast members. It was not great. Enter that 90s show, which takes place obviously 20 years after the original and focuses on some of the kids of the original series, with cameos from the original cast, except for Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp, who are Red and Kitty. They are main characters. And I gotta say, Smith and Rupp, they are still absolutely perfect together. Their chemistry, still untouchable. They are amazing together. Kurtwood Smith alone is just still fucking perfect as Red. It's like he never stopped playing the character. Sticking with the original cast for a bit, we do see Eric and Donna, whose daughter, I had to write it down because there's so many new cast members. Leah Foreman, played by Callie Haverda. I'm going with Haverda. Topher Grace, Laura Prepon, both back. Topher Grace shows up in one episode, that being the first, while Donna shows up in 3. They're obviously married and have a kid. They bring the kid over for 4th of July. She ends up staying the summer, and that's kind of where the plot just kind of gets into gear. But we also have the returns of Kelso and Jackie, Ashton Kutcher, Mila Kunis, who apparently this is like their second or third time getting married. They also have a kid, Jay Kelso, played by Mace Coronel, could be pronounced either ways, honestly. And he's just as dumb as his dad, but at the same time, a heart of gold like his dad. And they literally just show up at the end of the first episode, and then we never see them again. Wilmer Valderrama returns as Fez, and we find out he may have been married to Jackie, and then while on like this extravagant trip, she leaves him to go back to Kelso. It's like, good God, that's fucking terrible. And Fez shows up in 3 episodes, which is pretty cool. Don Stark is back as Bob. He shows up in 1 single episode, as well as Jim Rash, who comes back as Fenton. He shows up in a cameo in a single episode. And the legendary Tommy Chong is back as Leo. He shows up in 2 episodes, and he is fucking amazing because he's Tommy Chong. The other cast members, the newer ones, you got Ashley Ofterhide. I know I'm pronouncing that wrong, who plays Gwen, Maxwell Donovan as Nate, Ren Doi as Ozzy, Sam Morelos as Nikki. And the kids, they do have great chemistry together, so I kind of want to see more from them. And each new character kind of mirrors an original character from that 70s show, which is cool, but at the same time, I feel like it hinders the show a little bit because it's relying a bit too much on the past. The show is literally exactly the same formula as that 70s show, and while it works, it worked for that 70s show, it works for that 90s show, at the same time, it's the show relying too much on the past. And while the old adage goes, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, at the same time, it's like, try something new, do something different, try to set yourself apart from the original. Maybe they'll do that in season 2. If it gets a season 2, they can obviously set it up to have more seasons. Obviously, this first season, they brought in a whole bunch of old characters, and they had a lot to introduce, so I kind of understand them going back to the well, so to speak. So season 2, if it happens, I kind of hope they do go a bit of a different route. That being said, though, it does capture the humor of that 70s show. It relies heavily on 90s nostalgia, which is what that 70s show did, but with the 70s, and it does work. It really works. If there's anything that I was just on, other than them rehashing the past, was the 90s style version of the original theme, which I understand wanting to keep the theme because it's basically the same show. It's just, I don't know. It's not a good version. At the end of the day, that 90s show is actually a good show. It's funny. Everybody involved is great overall. The cast has amazing chemistry, from the younger actors to Kurtwood Smith and Deborah Jo Rupp to the OG actors showing up. Everybody on screen has great chemistry, and it works. They work well together, and it makes you want to see more of these characters. But at the same time, them going back to the well so many times it hinders the show a little bit. Not too much, but it still hinders it enough where it's like, I actually honestly loved that 90s show, but it hinders it enough where I'm not going to give it an A. But I'm still going to give that 90s show a B+.
Did you enjoy the review? Make sure to hit that like button and subscribe to get notified when more reviews go live. Feel free to leave a comment to discuss your thoughts on the movie or show, and I will see you next time.